Welcome to the CTech Podcast, your go-to source for everything environmental engineering. Join us as we delve into sustainable industrial practices, exploring topics like wastewater treatment, water purification, solid waste management, air quality control, noise and vibration, environmental impact assessments, and the latest in environmental legislation. Whether you're a seasoned professional, an industry leader, a student, or simply someone eager to make a positive impact, you're in the right place. Together, let's pave the way to a sustainable future, one episode at a time.
Hi everyone, welcome you all back for another episode of our video series which we discuss about the environment engineering specifically for Sri Lankan context. So today we are going to discuss about the environment impact assessment process, which is the main process for obtaining environmental clearances for major development projects in Sri Lanka. Environment impact assessment is a process of predicting the potential impacts of a development activity on the natural, social environment and then suggesting measures to prevent or minimize the negative impacts. So environment impact assessment process give a communities and citizen a chance to raise their concerns in development initiatives. So there are the legal framework of this EIA process, we call it as EIA, Environment Impact Assessment process. There are two levels, national level and provincial level. So when it comes to the national level, there are three main acts are involved. First one is the most important one is the National Environment Act, which covers the entire country than the two sections, which we'll discuss later. So the agency for implementing this National Environment Act would be Central Environment Authority. And the second act is the Coastal Conservation Act, which is we call as CCA, which covers the coastal zone, and the main authority to implement or enforce this act is Coastal Conservation Department. And the third one is Flora Fauna Protection Act in Sri Lanka. So this covers the national reserves and strict nature reserves and nature reserves and national parks, and the buffer zones, basically the 1 mile zone from the natural reserves boundary. So Department of Wildlife Conservation is the agency to enforce this act. So this is the legal framework involved in the EIA process at the national level. And when it's come to the provincial level, the North Central Provincial Environment Statute is there for the North Western Province. So the North Western Province Environment Authority is the main body to enforce this the provincial framework. In only this is apply only for the Northwestern Province. So this EIA process or Environment Impact Assessment process is only for the prescribed projects. So these prescribed projects are mentioned in the number 772/22 of 24th of June 1993 Act, which is under the National Environment Act. So in that section or in that gazette, they have mentioned the prescribed activities. So these prescribed projects or activities are categorized under two categories based on the project type and magnitude and the project location. So project type and magnitude means basically the project size. So hotels over 99 rooms, highway over 10 kilometers, or land clearing more than 50 hectares. So such project type and magnitude are considered as prescribed projects. So there are number of projects or the project types are listed in the act, and there's another category based on the project location. So if our proposed project is within an environment sensitive area, or like 100 meter from the boundary, or within a forest reserve, or within 60 meter from the river bank, or within 100 meter boundary within a sanctuary. So if the project is located in a such reserved or conserved area or buffer zone, then of course irrespective of the magnitude of the project, EIA process has to be implemented for that project. And when it's come to the coastal zone, the Director General of the Coastal Conservation Department can decide whether the project requires a EIA or not. And under the Flora Fauna Act, any small or big development project at the buffer zone of the natural reserve has to undergo EIA process without exception. If we talk a little bit more about these coastal zones, what is considered as coastal zone? So, according to the Act, the area lying within 300 meters landwards of the mean high water line is considered or belongs to Coastal Conservation Act. And on the seaward side, the limit of 2 kilometers seawards of the mean low water line is considered under this CCA or Coastal Conservation Act. In the case of rivers, streams or lagoons or any other body of water connected to sea, either permanently or periodically, the landward boundary shall extend up to 2 kilometers measured perpendicular to the straight baseline drawn between the natural entrance point. Therefore, it shall include the water such as rivers, streams, lagoons or any other body of water which is connected to the sea. So this is the boundaries considered as the coastal zone, which comes under Coastal Conservation Act. If the project is located within a 1 mile buffer zone from nature reserve, then the project approving agency would be Department of Wildlife Conservation. Then when we are considering about this environmental impact assessment project or process, the project approving agency is one of the key member of this process. So project approving agency are government agencies that are responsible for administrating this EIA for this project. So Central Environment Authority is the lead project approving agency, and so there are two levels of impact assessments are mentioned in the Act. First one is Environment Impact Assessment, where we call as EIA, and the next one is IEE, Initial Environment Examination. So EIA or IEE will be decided based on the significance of the environment impacts caused by the project. So project approval agency will decide which is needed, or EIA or a IEA. So EIA is a detailed and comprehensive study on the environment impacts, whereas initial environment examination or IEE is relatively short and simple study. And there's another difference between these two. EIA has to undergo a public review and comments for 30 days. For the IE, there is no such mandatory requirement is there for a public review. So now let's go through the steps of the process. So first one would be submission of preliminary information. So project proponent, or we call as PP, project proponent, should submit a proposal along with the basic information questionnaires to the project approving agency. It can be CA or CCD, Coastal Conservation Department, or Wildlife Department of Wildlife and Conservation. So first, the project proponent has to submit preliminary information and project proposal to one of these project approving agency based on the location of the project. Then the next process would be the screening. So in this process, the project approving agency will determine whether EIA or IEE is necessary for the project. Then if the project is located in a coastal zone, the Director General of Coastal Conservation Department will decide which study is needed, EIA or IEA. And if the project is in the buffer zone of the nature reserve, project must go under EIA or IE process without any exception. So within 6 days after the submitting this basic information, the project approving agency should acknowledge the project proponent that they have received this preliminary information. So the next step would be the scoping. And so project approving agency identify the issues and impacts to be addressed, and project approving agency prepare a terms of reference or TOR for the base of this EIA or EIA study. So TOR, or terms of reference, is the guideline for the EIA or EIA study, and so this scoping process has to be done within 14 days for the IE studies, or within 30 days for the EIA process. Then next part would be the EIA study. So that EIA study should be undertaken by team of experts, which is who are hired by the project proponent. So there's a list of registered consultants at the CA website, and so link is available at the description. We will put the link to the list of those consultants who are registered to undertake these EIA studies. So EIA should address the impact, or first they should identify the impact identification, then impact quantification should be done, then the impact evaluation, and finally impact mitigation. So these steps has to be followed within the EIA process. And after we submit this EIA or IE report to the project approving agency, they project approving agency review this report by appointing a technical evaluation committee. And so technical evaluation committee is appointed to evaluate this EIA or IE process. And for the EIA, environmental impact assessment, the general public also contribute to this reviewing process. And this report will be reviewed for adequacy and accuracy for the information. Normally within 21 days will be taken to this review process for the IEs, and 30 days for the EIA. So this project approving agency should submit a copy after the reviewing process. After this reviewing process, they have to PAA, project approving agency, should submit a copy to the Central Environment Authority. So then the Central Environment Authority would publish this in a gazette, and one of the national newspaper published daily in Sinhala, Tamil and English. Then the EIA, if the study is EIA, then the public is invited to make comments in written. So if there are public is invited within 30 days, they have to give their comments in writing for the EIA studies, or environment impact assessment studies. Then after this, receiving these public comments, it should be informed to the project proponent within 6 days. Then after all this process, the decision of approval or rejection of the project is taken by the project approving agency based on the technical evaluation committee recommendations, and also the considering the public comments as well. Then the report should be submitted in Sinhala and Tamil languages if the report is prepared in English. Then the monitoring and compliance phase is the next one. So that they will maintain and enforce the recommended condition in the report to make sure that these mitigation measures are actually practiced when the project proponent is executing the project. So if we summarize the process once again, the first step is a preliminary information process. Then next one is preliminary information should be submitted by the project proponent. Then project approving agency will screen and they will decide whether this project needs EIA or IE study. If needed, what is needed, like EIA or IE, that can be decided at the screening process. Then the next one is scoping, where the TOR will be issued for the project proponent. TOR is the guideline to produce this EIA or IE study. Then project proponent would hire a team of experts which are registered under the Central Environment Authority to prepare this EIA or IE study report. Then we have to submit, or the project proponent has to submit that to project approving agency. Then they will review this report by appointing a technical evaluation committee. And if it is a EIA report, public review will also be there. And after that, considering all the TEC committee recommendation and public review comments, project approving agency can decide whether they will accept or deny the project. Then the final step, if it is approved, the follow-up monitoring will be there. So this is the basic process of EIA process to get environmental clearances for development projects or the major or prescribed development projects in Sri Lanka. So I hope this process is clear to you, and with that I would like to conclude the video, and if you have any comments, we would like to hear those, so please comment us below, and please do subscribe to our channel. So we'll meet from the next video. So until that, take care. Thank you very much.